Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive talking nerd John Norgrove. We have Wife here. It was Terrible Tuesday yesterday. We started the movie like stupid late, so we're doing a review first thing in the fucking morning. I could fare to have more coffee or whiskey, whatever. It's the apocalypse.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah. Brandy's better in coffee. Let's put that out there.
I don't know. I like liqueurs in my coffee.
A good single malt in coffee is nice, but I feel like it's kind of a sin to dirty your single malt with coffee. But I've certainly been in that place where I've just been like, scotch and coffee? Alright, this is what we're doing in the morning while camping, because the only thing we have left in the morning is single malt because I drank all the brandy last night.
No,
it's good times.
Pass
good
on
times.
that. If I put anything in the coffee, it's like a flavored liqueur.
Nothing says treating a hangover like just getting real fucked up real fast, so that way you can't experience the hangover.
Hair of the dog that bit you.
That's how I go camping. It's safe enough. Either way, this is Review Jive. We are reviewing Underworld because, let's see, yesterday was Allie's choice and she chose Underworld. And I don't know if you're getting this, but our theme for Terrible Movie Tuesday is terrible movies that are actually fucking classics.
Not terrible.
But we still get to tear it apart, and we're still gonna break it down and go through certain scenes and aspects and talk about it. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with the description for Netflix for this because
for Underworld
because it's it explains a lot of problems with this movie. A vampire suspects that her mortal enemies, werewolves, known as lichens, are targeting a human. As she shadows him, she finds herself falling in love. Okay.
Wow, I feel like that doesn't describe the movie.
Let's break this down.
That One, Underworld actually is at all.
That's not the plot of Underworld. Not at all. Two, if you don't know that lichens and werewolves are the same thing, exit that direction. 'Cause what? And three, she doesn't find herself falling in love so much as all of a sudden they're in love. And you just have to accept this as the audience. Because it's like, there's nothing, and then the dude who's like, really persistently trying to marry her in like a really aggressive, his secret to getting women is to like hit them and lock them in cages and be really mean. Yeah. He's like the worst person ever. Right? I mean, he's obviously the main bad guy, so he's supposed to be. But he's like the worst person ever, and he's just like, but you're gonna love me. At the end of the fucking movie, he's still Craven. Yeah. He's still like, you are gonna be my queen. And I'm like,
we're just like, really?
Like, this is like the 20th time she's not listened to you and you had to hit her. This is really, and you've had to hit her, like, and he's always like, boom, you gotta listen to me. Didn't want to do that. And then like, you're like, what are you fucking? Yeah. He's a fucking terrible person, vampire person.
He dies. It's okay.
He dies. It's okay. Most people in this movie die, by the way.
Or are already dead.
Yeah, I guess. Well, okay, except let's get into our first and most important complaint about this movie. Vampires aren't dead in this.
Or maybe they are. We don't really know.
They're not for a couple of reasons. Yeah. One, at one point in time, somebody just breaks a vampire's neck, right?
Yeah.
Victor is just like, bam! That vampire's dead now. Pretty certain that's not how you kill a vampire. Two, when you see Victor's reanimation sequence, which is actually pretty badass for 2003 CGI, you see his lungs breathing and his heart beat. Yeah. And three, when
Celine,
when she crashes her car
and they go into
the water, she almost drowns in the water.
Yeah.
I thought vampires were supposed to be fucking dead.
Has to give her mouth to mouth. So
we didn't realize this until this watching.
Vampires aren't actually like the undead in this, and it's kind of like
it's just like a
sickness.
It's just like a guy who drinks blood and is a bit of a prick. Well, they talk about it being some sort of like genetic infection. They talk about it being like this guy, the
two brothers, one bitten by a bat, the other by wolf.
Their dad got the plague, and he was one of the only people in the area to like survive the plague. But in the process of surviving the plague, his body mutated it to work for him.
Yeah.
Right? And then he had 2 kids, or maybe 3. But
they don't really get into that until later movies,
there's a thing, because they talked about...
It's two brothers, one bitten by bat, the other by wolf. That's the thing that they keep saying.
Except he has human ancestors that are not lycanthrope or vampires, which means there had to be a third kid. Because that's the plot of this movie, but they never address it, and I realized
they had kids after. Again, they talk about this in
I guess maybe a vampire can have kids? Well, no, of course they can, because Victor has a daughter.
Yeah, and she's also a vampire, but we don't know whether she was a vampire before. There's some unclear stuff, and we haven't actually seen the most recent, because I think there's like 5 of these movies. We haven't seen the most recent of them. I like the Lycan one, but there's I really in general like the lore world that it belongs in. It's so pretty.
It's really good.
Love it. I think this is a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's a pretty
this is
movie.
Not a terrible movie.
It is certainly a terrible movie.
One of my favorite vampire movies, like literally of all time. I remember watching this movie in the theater.
This might be one of the best. This is probably top 5 vampire movies.
I remember watching this movie in the theater, and like, you know, when you see something that's like that kind of like makes you shook. I remember being shook after this movie.
This movie?
Yeah, I remember leaving and was like, my whole world is different. I don't know. Like that feeling you get when you watch a particularly
Was 2003 Julie like a little bit of a goth?
I've been a little bit of a goth since I was a tiny child.
Yeah, see.
So I don't know what you think.
That's the problem with that there. It's fucking goth movie.
Definitely not a problem. Shut your mouth. I would say my biggest complaint about this movie is not that vampires are alive or the drowning or any of that stuff, is that there's no really hot dudes in this movie. All of the women are gorgeous.
Oh my god, yeah. There's really not any like hot dudes in this.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of hot ladies, a bunch of gorgeous women, and they're like doing the thing, and there's the vampires.
I mean, I guess
which
maybe,
is sexy in and of itself.
Maybe
but like
the main human guy is supposed to be the hot one.
But like none of the guys are the hot one.
Yeah. Also, the accents are all over the fucking place, and we spent most of the movie trying to figure out where this takes place.
Where it takes place.
I think this takes place in Berlin.
I think this takes place also somewhere in Europe, even though most people are speaking like English, or American English without an accent.
But like Victor has kind of a Transylvanian accent, and obviously the main chick is, I don't know, British or something. So she has like a Britishy accent.
But like where like the physical setting of it is, and the subsequent movies feels very much like it's continental Europe. Yeah. So not like this takes place in London. But like maybe Prague or Berlin. I'm not super familiar.
I think the vampires, the council that was coming in, they were portrayed in a very Eastern European way. Yeah, and so I think they're the like Berlin. Russia, Prague, like
maybe it takes place in a city that has like an extensive subway network, and
so it's not in America.
So the only city that can be in America basically is New York, and it's definitely not New York. Yeah.
It is honestly,
but also all of the license plates on the cars were European.
Yeah, that's fair.
They were not American license plates. So it definitely takes place somewhere not the U.S.
Were they EU plates?
They looked like EU plates, yeah.
I actually don't remember seeing any license plates on cars.
I remember. I actually noticed that in almost every single movie
specifically
where they
looking
show
at the
a car's
architecture and
plate.
looking for signs to see what language the signs were written in.
Almost every movie that I watch, I notice the license plates and where the license plates are from. Yeah. I think it's just like decades of playing the license plate game has like ingrained it inside of me.
Triggered her. She's like, Europe, don't hit me,
Yeah, but I'm also really good at recognizing physical settings, like sets and locations for movies, and I don't know, I
wonder where it was filmed.
It's like my uncanny superpower, but I actually don't recognize any of the locations for this movie, but we'll be watching a movie, and I'll be like, oh, that's the scene where they did the thing in this other movie, and John's like, yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know. I can't do movie quotes, but I can do this.
Yeah, she can't do quotes. Or plots, really. Sometimes sometimes I'll be talking about a movie, and she'll be like, "What movie are we talking about?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I just described 100% of the plot with like pretty okay accuracy."
And I'm like, I don't think
I'm
I've
not
ever
using
seen
proper
that.
nouns.
He's like, we've definitely seen
We
that.
watched it a week ago. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's
but
fine.
if you show
Whatever.
me a scene, a physical place of something, I can do that. So anyway, this is a very beautifully shot film. The cinematography is just fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and it's really kind of like this movie kind of like hits this wonderful sweet spot that I feel like very few movies really actually do, but is done and is probably the easiest to explain in terms of The Matrix. So when you first saw The Matrix, or at least when I first saw The Matrix, it was like, whoa, this movie is like super cool, and like everything, the cinematography was top notch and everything was just so cool, and you were just like, oh my god, like this world that they built is so awesome and I want more of this world. And then they give you more of this world in subsequent movies and you're just like, no, yeah. This isn't what please
you get let down.
Stop.
Is the secret
don't do
here.
It.
Yeah. The first Matrix and the Animatrix, only good Matrixes. This movie, pretty much only good Underworld movie.
I don't know, I like the Lycan one.
The pasty one is okay, the one that takes place in the past, not like pasties. But
or like pasties that you eat.
Because these are called pasties. It's, I mean, that one's at least okay. Really, the problem with that one is that, like, all of the universe that they built, now we're gonna, like, add a bunch of weird shit. No... Like, they just add, like, weird mountain like, vampire wizards.
And vampire wizards.
And this idea that the Lycan were, like, uncontrollably more powerful.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's only this movie. It's like, before then, Lycanthrope were fucking shitty. And, like, we're what's up. And then in this movie, they're like, or in the one that takes place in the past, they're like, they were a huge threat for like a really long time.
Yeah.
I have a lot of issues with that one, but
that's
of the sequels, that's a good one.
Yeah.
This movie sets up a universe with as little detail as humanly possible. Let me get that straight. Like, we don't even know if the vampires are dead, so that's a pretty fucking big what if here.
Yeah. Or if they can actually have children, much is the
these vampires can't turn into bats.
They do not turn into bats.
And they also seem to not really have super speed.
No, they have super, like, speed. I think that's...
Not really. They at no point in time did they, like, do...
They have super speed. And they delve into it in, I think, Underworld 2. They talk, actually, in length at it. But I think that's the idea behind all of the vampire scenes being slow motion, like, when they're battling. And all of the human scenes
overuse slow-mo so
I don't think so.
Fucking
I think it's
much.
Fine. I think it's fine.
It's, in my opinion, very clearly being used to hide action set pieces. Like, instead of Kate Beckinsale, is that her name? Instead of Kate Beckinsale, like, doing a badass flip, what we're gonna do is we're gonna record it like 10 times, and we're gonna just cut it in slow-mo and use like 4 camera angles, and we're gonna be able to like hide. I think the slow-mo, the fucking color balance, and there are very clearly cinematographic decisions that are made in this movie specifically, this first movie, that are clearly being used to hide transitions, wires, CGI, poor CGI, because really the greatest truth in this movie, and probably in the whole franchise now that I think about it, is that the practical effects and the practical work and the practical makeup are fucking phenomenal. They go above and beyond. It is so good. I forgot how good the practical effects in this movie is. The CGI is fucking hot garbage, except for like once in this movie.
I don't know, man. I really liked it.
The CGI is real bad, but the practical effects are real good. So and again, they use the camera trickery to really hide a lot of those transitions.
See,
right?
I didn't think of that as, like,
stuff, and so
trickery to hide as bad. I was just this looks cool.
The movie is cool for the sake of coolness. So it's called an action horror movie, which I don't think it's.
I mean, some people might think it's scary.
I feel like they're like, there's vampires and werewolves, so it's probably horror. Which, whatever.
I mean, that's a very 2003 decision.
It is, yeah. No, I get it.
Or whenever this came out.
It came out in 2003.
Was it 2003?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out in 2003. Like, I don't know. to me, there definitely appeared to be decisions in the way they did camera work to hide transitions, right? And that's not bad. Everybody does it, right? I mean, you have to do it to hide certain transitions and to do those things. Sometimes I think this was it was taken a little overboard. Like, she's doing a... How many cool jump out of a windows can we do? Why don't we
all the cool jump out the windows?
Cool jump into a window?
The cool
Let's mix
jumps.
it up. I feel like
from really high up.
I feel like they had
cool
like 7 things. They're just like, all right, we're gonna do the jumps out the windows. We're gonna do the slow mo. We're gonna do it, and they chose like 7 things, and then they're just like, all right, cool. Now what are we gonna do? And they're like, just do them again.
I'm okay with it.
Just keep doing them.
Totally okay with it.
But whatever. It's movie from 2003. Can you expect anything else?
So this movie also, I think, deals with werewolves in a different way than a lot of other werewolf movies. And so if I were to choose vampires or werewolves, I would absolutely choose vampires. I have never really been into the werewolf/lichen kind of thing. I've always just been like, guys, werewolf people. I've never really been a werewolf person.
The werewolves are cool. I like the design of the werewolves. I really
like the werewolves in this movie.
Yeah,
and
I like the design. I like the history.
Yeah.
I like the connection that they build. I mean, in general, the greater concepts in this movie all are really well done.
I would say that this movie takes the werewolf lichen thing and really puts it like at the top of the things that are werewolf lichen that I enjoy. Most of the werewolf stuff in other movies, I'm just like...
My problem with the werewolves in this, compared to like traditional werewolf stories, is that they sort of removed any... I get that this movie is about them, but they removed mystery, right? And I think they removed a lot of the, like, scary part of it. To me, these movies, the werewolves are not as powerful or as scary as they are in other interpretations of werewolves. They look way cooler. These are, like, the coolest looking werewolves.
I think these werewolves, being the I choose the vampire side, I think these werewolves are scary and are powerful. In fact, like, you see it kind of time and time again in most of the fights. Like, without a gun... In this movie, vampire versus werewolf, the werewolf is gonna win. They're way OP. And it feels like the vampires don't really have anything in their repertoire to, like, overcome. You know, it doesn't feel like in this universe that vampires versus werewolves is a fair fight. It definitely feels like werewolves win over vampires every time, which kind of hurts me to say, like a little bit. But like, I don't think that the vampires even have a chance against the werewolves when it comes to no gun. And even with a gun, the werewolves still have a pretty, I think they still have a pretty big advantage on fighting the vampires.
Yeah. I feel like that was just more plot device than like actual balance, and it's because there are scenes where it's like it's just little stuff. The fights are a little unbalanced. I mean, like okay, so Victor's the most powerful vampire. I get that, but the guard vampires, which are really just the red shirts, right? They're the ones that are they're just getting fucking torn apart by werewolves. And you're like, oh, they're getting torn apart by werewolves. But it's like, yeah, they're red shirts. They would have got torn apart by anything, I guess. And same with the werewolves when they're fighting Kate Beckinsale, or Victor, really, just those two. I think in later movies, it addresses that balance a little bit better between werewolves and vampires, but I think that in this movie, you get these scenes where it makes the werewolves seem like they're so much more dangerous, but you also just have like kind of genuinely inept vampire guards. Yeah. I mean, really, and now that I'm saying it out loud, and I didn't think about this last night, the werewolf or the vampire like guards with the machine guns are about as dumb as you can possibly fucking
they're
get,
pretty
dude.
bad. They're pretty bad.
I mean, like, especially that scene in the train where it's like, there's werewolves, and like the guard is like up against the window, like what's going on out here? And then the werewolf gets him, and then it's just like you hear gunfire and action in the background, but it's like in previous scenes you've seen 2 or 3 bullets really hurt a werewolf, but in this scene they're just mowing bullets. I mean, and you don't see the fight, which I get, like they didn't want to have to choreograph that fight, really.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I'm totally fine with that. But it's like okay, it's back here, you know, and they're doing their back and forth or whatever in the train, and there's the lights and the flashing and whatnot, and then it jumps in and everybody's just murdered and werewolves are chewing on them, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, like the werewolves are like way more powerful, and then in like the next scene, Kate Beckinsale, there's like 9 werewolves chasing her, and she's like bang 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 bang. Also, can we talk about all the vampires? They have their like silly statue gun train thing, whatever the fuck that is. In their like underground hyper castle.
Oh, instead of shooting at like a paper, they're shooting at a bus.
They're shooting at like busts, which is fucking absurd, right?
That's
but, like,
so extra.
They have this training, so clearly they should be like good at targeting. But every scene, they're using fully automatic weapons, and even Kate Beckinsale, everybody's just spray and praying. Where it's like, yeah, of course the werewolves are gonna like overcome you when you're just doing this. Fucking just like they're probably all dead now, I guess. I don't know. You know, that works. So there was just, and like again, later movies sort of address these things and resolve a lot of these problems. This is the first movie. Yeah, I get all of that.
Yeah.
But in general, it felt like the balance was sort of always shifting. With regard to that, and then of course the moment Victor comes on scene, and again they're trying to show that he's the most powerful vampire or whatever, but he's just like murdering things left, right, and fucking center.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's...
And I love him. I love Victor as a character, and I also love the actor that plays him. In fact, that actor, I can't think of his name.
Look him up right
Everything that actor is in, I'm like, oh, that's Victor from Underworld.
Bill Nighy.
Yeah, that's Bill Nighy. Every movie he's ever in, even Shaun of the Dead. Yeah. I'm just like, that's Victor.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do some actor stuff. Then let's get some ratings, and then you guys can. We can all fuck off. Yeah. So Kate Beckinsale plays Celine,
the main
vampire chick.
She does a pretty good job.
She's alright.
Like Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, her outfit's dumb.
All
the other ladies have doper outfits. Her outfit's dumb. I'm just hard truth.
I think it's all right.
Michael Sheen, who plays Lucien, which is the head werewolf, is honestly
the best character,
the best actor. It's him and Victor. And
100%.
They're also really the only actors that are like doing a good job acting.
Yeah. Also,
I mean, like Kate Beckinsale's not bad. These other people aren't bad, but the only people who go through character development, who really kind of do anything that feels like a real movie, like real characters. The only people that are doing a good job in this movie are Victor and Lucien. Also, and everybody else is just sort of like, now all of a sudden we're in love. That scene,
very,
that
like,
first scene
2D
when
characters.
she kisses the human, I'm just like, why didn't she just kiss him?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to detect that there were feelings this time? Because I did not detect that at all.
I think Lucien is the hottest dude in this. And
Michael Sheen? Far the fucking away.
And it's not like necessarily just like a Adonis looks. It's not necessarily the looks. It's his attitude in it too, and the way that he portrays his character. He's definitely the hottest dude in this.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Scott Speedman plays Michael Corvin, who's the human.
Does an okay job, but honestly, the character is so bland and two-dimensional.
And he's whiny. And
it's like they wrote his character for a romance novel. Like when you read a romance novel, and I'm gonna let you know, I've only read like 2 ever. We did read that series of the lady who did the vampire one.
Yeah, the vampire romance novel series.
The problem with this character, I find, is the same problem with like romance novels, where they write, and even Paranormal Team Romance, where they write a character that they want the audience to connect with, so bland that it could be literally anyone. And I feel like that's really what they did with Celine and what's his name? Michael Corvin in this. And that they're both so bland that you can just project yourself onto them. And I would think if they made them fuller characters, they would actually be better characters. And they do flesh out their characters throughout the courses of the movies, but I'm going to go with too late.
Like, everybody kind of gets like a single beat. Yeah. Like Celine's thing is she's like, I'm a great warrior because werewolves killed my family and Victor saved me. And you're like, okay, I guess. Like, whatever, who cares?
All right, who's next?
Sophia Myles plays Erica. She's like the blonde vampire lady who's an upstart who's trying
Celine's
to fall in love with
friend.
that. Yeah, Celine's friend.
She is definitely.
I don't know about Celine's
no, they're friends. She is definitely the
betrays
most.
her a lot.
I think she's the hottest female vampire of all of them, and
Yeah.
she's got a pretty good character.
also
She's
has the
got a
best
little bit of a
outfits.
character arc.
Her outfits
her outfits are
banging.
amazing.
Every time she's just like bah bah bah, just the best outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a really good job. I also like her as an actress a lot. Bill Nighy, who plays Victor,
Victor,
which is amazing.
Best ever. Love him. Fantastic actor. Victor, I think, is a great character as well. And I really would like to see more of Victor. And I know you do in later movies, but like you really only get like the old side of it. And I'd really like to see like middle of his reign. Because at one point in time, he tells Craven that he's basically let the house fall into disrepair.
Yeah,
and I would like to see what like the full flourishing reign of Victor would have looked like.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been a really cool movie.
So Craven is played by Shane Brawley. He's a prick, and in reality, his character doesn't make any sense. Again, he's that leading character. Then there's a lot of them. It's really most of them in this movie. He's that leading character who's like he has two things. He betrayed them, and he wants to go to power, and he wants to marry Celine. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, and even with that, his decisions and actions are fucking insanity. Celine's actions are crazy. Fucking Michael Corbin's actions are crazy. Fucking this guy's actions. Their actions are just absurd.
I see Craven's actions totally differently. I see that that he knows that he did something dirty to get the power that he has, and that he is trying to keep that power desperately, even though he's not good at it and he's slowly failing, and that what he did that was dirty has been uncovered, and now he has to try to backtrack. So I think that that's a specific personality, and in that, I think this actor actually did a really good job. At playing Craven.
He played a good Craven, but
Craven
I think
is
Craven
a character
was just
that you hate on purpose.
No, and he did a good job. He did a good job with that, but
he's like the Weasley guy that you can't trust. You know, he's the Weasley guy that you can't trust who ends up in power, because the Weasley guy you can't trust always wants to be in power, rarely gets the power. Yeah. This is what happens when he gets the power. Right, and I think that that's what you're forgetting with this.
But like it's uncovering, and he's doing like all of the things are happening around him that are telling him what to do, not him doing anything. I mean, he's almost a fucking non-character in this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Really, other than shooting Lucian at the end of it, he doesn't really do anything. Except for yell at people.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. I think the actor did a good job. I think that the character, again, falls in that category of just not having enough development and really not having enough, like, character points to be a fucking person. Right?
Who's next?
The doctor who was Wentworth Miller, which is
the
very
old guy,
surprising.
right?
No. Wentworth Miller's the doctor.
Oh.
His friend, Michael Corbin's friend.
I did not realize that was Wentworth Miller. That's totally crazy.
Nor did I. Good for him. He was super young in this. Kevin Gravois, who plays Ray's, he's the like super dark gravelly voice. He's one of those ones who I think the difference is that they're actors who like actually care about what they're doing.
Yeah.
A little bit. Because Kevin Gravois fucking crushed it. Zita Gorog, Erwin Leader, Robbie
Amelia,
Gee.
yeah.
Robbie Gee plays like her like kind of, which
Celine's
is pretty cool.
M.
Celine's M.
Yeah, that was really good.
Brian
the old
Steele,
guy
Hank
who's
Amos,
the doctor.
and Richard Keeter. Oh yeah, Aaron Leder, who plays
he does
the
a really
doctor.
great job in this movie, and I think that he's a
experimenty
good
scientist.
Character. Yeah.
He does a really good job, and he does that like sort of like sniveling sidekick to the big evil mad scientist sort of thing really, really good. Yeah. But he also has his moment where he like stands against the just being the sniffly whatever the fuck. I mean, he did a good job. In general, I think everybody did a good job. I mean, it's a good movie. Does it have flaws? Of course. But then again, everything has flaws. Like, who fucking cares? But yeah, I don't know. I
would give this 5 star-crossed lovers out of 5 long-term coffin sleeps.
I'll give it 3. I'll give it 3 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's not really good. It's certainly not that good.
Love this movie.
And they only get worse from here. So
that's not wrong, but I love this movie. Yeah. So, have you seen this movie? It's super old. I hope you have. What did you think about this movie?
Yeah.
Have you seen the sequels? Do you want us to watch them?
Don't. They're not good.
Maybe. That might be fun. I'm into it.
We can watch all of the sequels and then do one review of all of them, and it's just gonna be a picture of an ass and our voices over it.
These
movies are fucking butt because of butt movies.
That's so harsh.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway.
Hold on. Now we're back. I was just fucking with you.
Anyway.
There's a little timer on the thing.
I know. I saw it going down. Oh, jeez. Or up.
Up. So she didn't see it going down. Clearly.
Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe, tell us what you thought. Do you have any requests? We've gotten some requests from people, so hopefully we're going to start watching some of those movies that have been requests. Do you do Terrible Movie Tuesdays?
If
what
not,
have you
should.
been watching? Yeah. And we will catch you guys on the flip side.
Yeah.